Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be building a wireless temperature sensor, and some of you might say, well, what's that good for? Well, one, you could measure temperature of the room and all that kind of crazy stuff. However, what I'm going to be using it for is to have it next to my batteries while they're charging, so I keep a constant eye on them through my phone or my PC. So you might say, okay, well how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do that with just 3 components, which is this guy, and this guy. And let's talk a little bit about this guy. This is the most expensive part, and this is the brain of everything. This thing will cost you just $3.99, which is $4, which is insane, because when these first came out, I actually got them for $25 and $12, and it was just insane. So now they're just $4, which is absolutely crazy. So what is this thing? Well, this is an ESP8266 chip, and what do these chips do is basically it's a microcontroller unit with Wi-Fi connectivity, so it's like a wireless Arduino. And these come in many shapes and sizes. However, I find this to be the best package size for us. Overall price and usability and user friendliness. This guy is going to be our winner here. Just because we could easily power them through the USB and just program them through the USB. Some of them are a bit more difficult to program. However, this one's absolutely drop dead easy. So that's what we're going to be using for the main part of the project. Here, what we're going to be using is something called an NTC Thermistor temperature sensor. This is a 10 kilo ohm temperature sensing resistor, I guess, if you want to call it like that. So it's very important also to get the same one I'm getting, because the calculations that I've made for the programming here to actually work beautiful are with this one, and it's the one that's going to be linked down in the video below, because these come in many different sizes and resistance and all kinds of crazy stuff. So this guy is very important. This is our temperature sensor, and we're going to basically have this guy with wires and have him just be loose, and you just put him next to whatever you want the temperature reading, whatever temperature reading you want. And if you want just a room temperature reading, just leave him in the room like this and you're good to go. So that's what we're going to be used for temperature sensing. And this is also very important, and it's a must-have. And this is obviously a resistor, but this is a 150 kilo ohm resistor, which is 150k ohm resistor if you're looking at it online. Now the K is important and 150 is important, so take that into consideration. And let's say for some reason you bought a pack and you don't have 150k, but you have like one that's 100k and one that's 50k, you could put those together in series, I believe, and that'll be 150k. So if you don't have exactly 150k, you can always just put them together in series and you'll get your 150k out of it. So this is very important that it's 150k though, because also the calculation is based upon that 150k, because we're using 3.3 logic level and it's calculated to 3.3. However, everything online is calculated to 5 volts. So we're actually doing it a little bit different because this guy's at 3.3 volts. So that's all we're going to need. And everything here is below like $5. So except, you know, this is $1.50 for a pack of 10. I do highly recommend you get a pack of 10 if you're going to do this, because we're going to upgrade this project to be actually sitting between our Lipo battery and our charger, and once the temperature hits a specific temperature which you don't want it to, it'll actually disconnect the battery from charging with a relay. I'll leave a link to this down below. However, this is the next part of our project, but currently we're just building the temperature sensing part. So the program's all ready, and let's talk a little bit more how it works. Basically what will happen is once this is all set up, you just give it power and it'll automatically connect to your home wireless network and start broadcasting the temperature. Now you might say, well, how do I get the reading? Well, you can actually get the reading from anything that's connected to your wireless router, because once you boot this guy, he'll give you this code, you might say, or just numbers. It's called an IP address. He'll give you an IP address, and you just take that number and you put it into any of your browsers, you know, like your phone. You open up your phone and you open up the web browser and you put that in, and it'll actually start giving you a temperature reading of this guy, which is connected to your battery, for example. So it's absolutely easy, absolutely beautiful, and absolutely cheap. So enough talking, and let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing we want to do right now is we want to actually, let's cut one leg from the thermistor, basically in half here, and then the other side of the resistor in one side of it in half. So let's do that now. So we've gone ahead and done that. So what we want to do is we want to connect these two together, and what we're going to do is just wrap them around each other really here, and then we're going to go ahead and grab a wire, and we're also going to solder it with this side right here. So we can trim that off later. Let's just do like that. It's very nice. So there's one side right there. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a small gauge wire. You know, the smaller the better, because you really don't need it to be that big. So let's go ahead and just cut that off right there. Alright, so we're going to strip this. I'm using silicone wire, however you could use whatever you want, but silicone will be better, so it'll be more, it'll be a lot more maneuverable, if that's the word, yeah, maneuverable. So let's go ahead and set this guy up. I'm going to bring my helping hands here, and we're going to just put this guy here. So there we go. So right now it's holding through the resistor right here. And we're going to just go ahead and bring the wire. And we're just going to wrap it around somehow. You know, you can do whatever you want. Now it's very important to have this wire be right here, exactly here. So I think that's going to be good. And now what we're going to do is just going to add some solder. Alright. Try not to overheat the stuff here, because this is very thin stuff. It's not like our drone pads, so just, you know, just enough. There we go. So that was good. Alright, and let's take a look at it. Should be probably still pretty hot. So everything looks good here. We could always trim this and cut this off later. You know, you can just get yourself some little nice, you know, some of these cutters. Just cut that off, clean it up. Cut the wire off that was extending a bit more. But just try not to break anything. There we go. Now it's a little bit cleaner. It's a little bit better. It's a little bit more beautiful. So, alright, so this side's done. So now what we need is we also need another wire here and another wire here. However, the other side of the thermistor here, I recommend you do it with black because that's going to be connected to ground. So let's go ahead and grab a ground wire here. And I'm about to do about the same length. And there we go. And I think we should cut this also in half. So about right here is going to be good again. And then we're just going to wrap this wire around it. Get our helping hands again. And just hold it in place. There we go. Now we're just going to add a little bit of solder. And make sure we're going to be able to also add, what is it? Heat shrink. So it'll keep it nice and clean. And we're not going to be shorting out anything anytime soon. Alright, so this side's done. Now all we need is one side, which is this one. Let's go ahead and cut this in half again. We don't need it so long, or even just a little bit less than half. Right there, it's going to be nice. And let's go ahead and grab another wire. And this side of the resistor is going to be connected to the 3.3 volts on the pad. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And we're just going to wrap it around this and go ahead and solder it. So there we go. I think that's good. Yep, that's very nice. So let's go ahead and add some solder. You don't want to heat this up for too long. There we go. Now let's just take a look at everything. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take a look at this here and see what we have done actually. Alright, so as you can see here, we've basically pretty much done. We have one side which is connected to the thermistor alone. This will be going to ground, and let's just, there we go. So we have one side right here connected to the ground. And this middle one that's connected between the resistor and the thermistor, this will be going on a pin called A0 on this, which is that pin right there, because that's going to be doing the reading. And this will be connected to the 3.3 volt, which is down here. And that black one is going to be connected to the ground right there. So let's go ahead and prepare the pads on this guy. So I think I've used a bit bigger gauge, so I don't think that'll slide through that hole. So we're just going to go ahead and just solder them on top, just like so. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to prepare the 3 pads, which is ground, 3.3 volt, and A0. So there's ground right there. So let's just add some solder. All right, so this one's done here. Now we need a 0, which is this one right here. Okay. And last is 3.3 volt, which is that guy all the way at the end there. All right, so that's all done with. All right, so before we actually solder this guy, let's actually add some heat shrink, and then we're gonna put it all together like this so nothing can actually short out. So let's go ahead and start adding some heat shrink here. All right, so now it's pretty much ready here, as you can see, and I don't think anything was going to be touching anytime soon. So once we're done, I highly recommend you we put just one more heat shrink on top of this, and then we could have this head be touching whatever we want. So let's go ahead and start soldering this stuff. So this side here, as we mentioned, which is just connected to the thermistor alone, is going to go to ground. So let's get that done with now. Let's add some solder on the wire first. Make sure you twist it so it doesn't go all over the place once it's Alright, so let's go ahead and solder this down to ground, which is right there, that G. Alright, so that's beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, let's grab the second wire here. And this wire is the wire between the resistor and the thermistor here. And this is going to go to A0. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, and as you can see here, it's a bit longer than we wanted it to, so we can just easily trim some of it off like that. And let's go ahead and find a 0, which is right there. So the way I'm going to actually solder this is all of them to be in the same direction. So since we already soldered that one going out like this, so I'm going to go ahead and do this like so. Alright, so that's nice. Now, last but not least is the part that's connected on the other side of the resistor. As you can see, there's a resistor. This is going to go to 3.3 volts, so let's go ahead and do that now. And this wire is still a bit too long. There we go. Right there is going to be absolutely beautiful. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have here now. As you can see, here is the temperature sensing part right there. It's very tiny, and everything else is connected beautifully. And this one I want to be pushed down a bit more. Just make sure nothing could short out any possible way. Yeah, and that's it. That's it. It's just this part, you're going to have it touching whatever you want, and we'll get the temperature. So let's go ahead and go into the programming section now. Alright guys, so what you want to do first actually is you want to get the Arduino IDE downloaded, and it's very simple to download. I'll leave a link to it down below. Just download it and install it, and that's it. So once that's downloaded, and I'll leave a link to my source code below, it'll be a .ino file. So after you finish downloading Arduino, then you click on it, and then something like this will pop up. However, if you try to send it, it won't work just yet because you have to do something else. So as you can see here, the fourth line down, I have this link. So what I want you to do is you copy this link in our source code once this opens. File, Preference, and you want to see where it says Additional Boards Manager URLs. You want to go here. You want to paste it right there. However, I've already had it, and just press OK. And then next step is you want to go to Tools. And then you want to go to what you want to go to is boards here, and yours might be different. Just the first one, boards, after Wi-Fi or whatever updater. So board, the first one, and you'll get something called Boards Manager. Click on Boards Manager and wait for it to finish loading. As you can see here, it's downloading the platform or whatever. Once it's done, you type ESP8266. And you could also see it right there in the link if you ever forget, and you can watch this video. However, I've already installed it. Here it would have an install button, or there, I forgot where it was. You click install, and then that's it. So once that's installed, what do you want to do? You want to go ahead and connect your little Wemos thingy inside the PC. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So I've gone ahead and connected it now. And what you want to do is you want to go to Tools, and then pick the correct COM port. Now I know COM port 1 for my PC is nothing. I have it set to something else. So COM 8 is the correct one. Whatever is not 1 for me is the correct one. So it's already correct here for me, but you might have to choose the correct one. And then you're going to want to go to boards, because you'll have basically like Arduino chosen as a default. As you can see here, look how it changed everything. So board, and then you want to go to what you want to go is to the Wemos, where it is, D1, R2, and Mini. This one. Click on it, and now we're set to go. So right now we'll compile it 100% correct for the microcontroller unit that we are using. And there is one last little modification to do, which is this part here where it says Wi-Fi parameters. Here, within these two quotes, is where you put the name of your wireless router. And then password is where you would put your password. Once you do that, all you got to do is click upload. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and press upload. So as you can see, it's compiling Sketch now. So we just wait for it, and we have a little progress bar right there. So let's just see what's going to happen. It does take quite a bit of time, even if your PC is super fast. It's just how it is. And another thing to take note of is not always it actually uploads at the first time you click upload. You know, sometimes you have to do it once or twice, and it should be good to go. So right now we're just waiting for it to finish. As you can see now, it's uploading. This is what you want to see. And it's done uploading, so that's perfect. So now what we want to do is you want to disconnect it from the USB here. So let's go ahead, or actually not yet. What you want to do is there's this little search, you know, magnifying glass here. It says serial monitor. Click on that, and what you want to do is you want to take a look here, and forget what we see right now. So what we want to do is actually right now there's a reset button on the Wemos. So let's just quickly do that. So I clicked it, and all this happened. Now here, what you should see is connecting to your wireless, you know, router's name. And once it connects, it'll give you Wi-Fi connected, and then server started. That's all good signs. And this code right here, yours is going to be different. This is called an IP address. What you want to do is you want to save this, because once it takes the first IP, it'll always usually use the same IP address in the same network. So this is what you would take, and you would actually set up to be, let's just turn off auto scroll, and let's take this guy. So Control C, copy it, And this right here, what we're going to do now is we're actually going to take it and we're going to put it into our phone's web browser so we can monitor the temperature. And as you can see here, we're already getting the temperature reading here. However, you know, don't worry about this. This is just like a debug. If you ever wanted to debug, you could also do it this way. But the main way is through the browser. So let's go ahead and check it out on the phone. Alright, so now let's just say we put this wherever we want to put this, and here is this connected to a battery or whatever you want. So let's go ahead and see how we would do this on the phone. So right now, first of all, we want to make sure we are connected to the same router. And as you can see right there, I'm connected to the same home router. So let's go ahead and close this. And I'm going to open up, you know, your internet browser, Chrome, whatever you want it to be. And I'm going to go ahead and take the IP address that we saw when I saved, which is 192.168.1.70, and as you can see, it's right there. So let's go ahead and press go, and let's just zoom in here, and as you can see, that is a live reading right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my finger on the sensor, and in theory, you know, it updates every 5 seconds. As you can see, its temperature starting to change, and it's currently in Celsius. I will recode it to do Fahrenheit later on, but you could redo that yourself if you know how to. So as you can see, it's working, and it's beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and let go, and it should drop to room temperature now, as you can see right there. Alright. So it's beautiful, and it reacts very quick. So right now, if I retouch it again, it'll just be even better. However, the source code, I'll set it to be to refresh every 2 seconds. Currently, it's set to every 5 seconds, so yours will refresh a lot faster. And if you can't wait, you could just always refresh yourself. This I will be, you know, making it a little bit better once we do the second part of the project, and we could add even more sensors and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's just that simple. That first code that it lets you go, which is an IP address, just stick it in a web browser, your PC, your phone, whatever. As long as you're connected to the same home Wi-Fi network, you will be able to see it. Million of phone, whatever, how many phones ever in the house could also connect to this and monitor it. So it's not just one phone connected to it. As many as you want in the house can totally do that. And, well, that's really it, guys. So that's all you need, like a power bank. Just stick a power bank on there now, and then just go put it next to whatever you want, and you should be able to get, you know, your reading and everything you want out of it. So, well, that's it, guys. So that's gonna conclude it for this video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to let me know, and I will see you next time. See you guys. Take care.